he would step across the line. Habitually. He's a habitual line stepper.
Thank y'all for kicking it with us on the Habitual Line Steppers podcast. I am Garrett Charles Langley Henson.
I am Terry 2. What's good, brother? How's it going? How you doing?
2.0 that you just hit the update?
Terry the second. I'm out here. XL.
Yeah, sounds more expensive. I don't like the new features. I didn't need all of this Terry with a new haircut and a cap connected to Wi-Fi. I miss the old Terry.
Pop the Trunk Productions, baby. What's going on, man? You already know.
Dude, I mean, first of all, I got to apologize to all you guys. We left you hanging on championship weekend. You didn't know who to root for in the games. You didn't know who was going to win. You didn't know what storylines were happening. And I'm going to put that all on me. My body decided to turn into a 75-year-old man on Thursday night. After practice at the soccer field, I had a little bit of water left in my water bottle, Terry. I tried to throw my neck back to drink the last bit vertical out the water bottle. Fucking pinched the nerve, tore a muscle, did some other old shit in my neck. My whole body falling apart. I've been on goddamn steroids and muscle relaxers for 4 days. Couldn't even sit upright to record the pod, man. I was laying down on my couch with fucking 15 pillows like the princess and the pea, unable to get comfortable.
Hey, man, it's all good, bro. You just took that Busta Rhymes song too serious. Break your back, come on. Break your neck, come on. It's all good, bro. It's all good. You back now? We missed out. We already knew who was going to win these games, though. I really wanted to talk about the Eagles-San Francisco game, but that one was a fucking dud. Yeah, I
really wanted to watch a good one as well, and then that happened. Man, what? I tell you what, why don't we just get that one out of the way first?
I thought that one was going to be the best one of the weekend. I swear, I was like, this is about to be football, and that shit was over. What do you think? 7-minute mark?
Yeah, like whenever halfway into the first quarter, they had already knocked out fucking 2 quarterbacks. Yeah. Like the Eagles, it was like they were playing NFL Blitz back on the N64. And it was like, oh, how I'm going to win? I'll just knock all your quarterbacks out until you don't have any left anymore.
That shit was incredible, man. Man. Hey, I don't know.
What were the Niners thinking? Like putting fucking tight ends to go block Reddick over and over again. He got creamed on the one where he got hurt. They had like the second tight end just one-on-one with the guy who led the NFL in sacks.
It was interesting, man.
Yeah, of course they just destroyed a quarterback. Then they got like Kittle coming around from the other side to block a one-on-one. He doesn't even get a hand on him. That's how both their quarterbacks got hurt, by putting tight ends on the best pass rusher in the NFL, going against a defense that had over 70 sacks. And you're like, yeah, we'll man them up one-on-one, backup tight end. We got this.
Shout out to San Francisco. That's your boy Kyle Shanahan. They're out there getting all cocky and shit. There's no excuse for you not chip blocking him every time. Both guys. Like, even if you don't have the tight end lined up on the other side, all right, cool. But at least you got the tight end. Like, I saw Kittle multiple times. Forget the one-on-ones. That's just fucking stupid. He just runs around, no chip. He's like, fuck it, I'm out. After Purdy was already out, he's like, I'm just run this route straight out. Like, I'm not chipping. Like, nah, he's got it. Sack. Like, the shit was comical. It was so comical, bro. Like, McCaffrey's about to switch his helmet up, trying to be a QB. Then they had Kittle trying to, do some shit. The fullback.
Bro, I was watching with some friends. They were all trying to be positive. They're like, Josh Johnson. All right. They're like, listen, this is his big opportunity. He's been waiting for this. Okay. His stops at 13 other teams in the NFL have all been preparing him for this moment. And he's going to be ready. And I was like, listen, guys, I've seen enough of Josh Johnson to know that unless he's playing against the Atlanta Falcons defense, they're going to be in fucking trouble.
And shout out to him getting his checks. Like, I love that the NFL keeps paying him for every stop he goes to, but he's the backup's backup. Like, they're already at the third string. Now he's the fourth string. And they probably signed him off the street. Like, I don't even know if
they did. He wasn't even on the roster when the season started. Exactly. Wasn't even on the team. They're like, all week, he was Jalen Hurts in practice. He wasn't even running the 49ers playbook. He was running the Eagles playbook, pretending to be Jalen Hurts. And then he gets out there. I was like, listen, Josh, you probably should have done a better job method acting. Because the first play, fucking Hassan Reddick somersaulted over him and took the ball directly out of his hands, and they didn't call a fumble. And I was like, uh-oh.
I mean, like, his first play, he strikes a nice little pass to Debo. That was cool. Nice little slant. Second play, caught him peeking. Ball's coming to him. He's peeking at the defense. He's still reading the defense while the hike's coming at him. Boop, fumble. Eagles get the shit. Poor effort, by the way. Him trying to get the fucking fumble. That might have been worse than Cam Newton faking like he went down. At least Cam Newton was like, I'm not even going to die. This dude dove and then didn't even put his arms out to reach for the ball. I'm like, dog, why are you even on the floor for it? Just stand up. Just be like, fuck it, I pumped up. I'm not going for it. That was a business decision if I've ever seen it. That shit's hilarious.
Honestly, it looked like an instruction manual for Cam Newton, but it's like y'all didn't get past the first step. It's like step 1, dive on the ground. Yeah. Then you forgot step 2 and 3, which is grab the ball and secure it. He had his hands on the football, and he was just holding it out like he was Superman, flying with Lois Lane through fucking clouds. And then some dude just came back and stepped on it and it squared out. I was like, what the fuck are you doing holding the ball out like you're a goddamn pastor and you're about to give communion and break it in half in front of the whole stadium?
It was silly, man. It was so silly. Plus, was Garoppolo healthy?
No,
he couldn't play at all.
You know he wasn't healthy because they knocked what's your boy Brock Purdy out the game, and they're like, he has to have Tommy John surgery. He can't throw. Get in there, Josh Johnson. Then they gave him a fucking concussion and ended his career. And they're like, all right, Brock Purdy, I know you can't throw, but we still have a quarter and a half of football left. So get out there and hand this ball off. Like, Brock Purdy went from being the third-string quarterback this season to being the first-string quarterback to being the fifth-string quarterback and still finishing the game out despite not being able to throw. And at that point, Terry, I was like, Kyle Shanahan is covering his ass, and he's going to use this as an excuse the whole time. I was like, fucking put Chris McCaffrey back there and let him actually play quarterback. Stop with this bullshit and give the people what they want. You're going to lose the game anyway.
Yeah, fuck it.
Can we at least see some trickeration? Can we see some cool shit?
Did you watch the rest of the game? I turned it off after the fumble. I was like, yeah, this game's over. And then when I turned back again for maybe a second, I saw Purdy hand the ball off like 3 times. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm out. Like,
yeah, I watched the rest of the game just because I was like, oh, I get to watch a non-quarterback play quarterback. This is going to be interesting. They did it one play. He, like, stepped up in the pocket and got hit as he threw and threw a duck like 40 yards to nobody. And I was like, wow. Yeah, McCaffrey.
So did Purdy throw the ball for the rest of the game or no?
No, he didn't throw it.
So they just ran the ball for 40 minutes or whatever?
Yeah, a quarter and a half. They lined up and ran it and got stuffed and then got back on defense for a quarter and a half. It was like watching somebody like who got like, you know, you ever see like a cow or some type of animal that got lost and got tangled up in a barbed wire fence, and it's just like laying there slowly dying, and there are 15 flies on it and shit, and they can't even lift his tail to get the flies off. And some farmer comes across and he was like, it would be better if we just shot it in the head and did the right thing.
Man.
That's how it felt watching the 49ers that last quarter of football. I was like, what if someone just did the right thing and shot Kyle Shanahan in the head?
Damn. You know what's funny, though, for Josh Johnson? It's just like, he probably was just chilling at home when the season started. He's like, oh, I get a chance, and just fucking concussion. Like, you played for a quarter and a half, and then you get a concussion? That's probably the worst scenario. Like, if you go out on the field, you're like, all right, here's my chance, and you get knocked the fuck out, and you're just like, damn.
First of all, I feel like they were actually doing him a favor, because before the concussion, you dropped the snap, and you let a dude take the ball right out of your hands before that in like one quarter.
Man.
You know, Terry, I knew he wasn't going to be ready to play as soon as I saw him step on the field. Did you see his haircut?
Yeah, I saw it. He wasn't ready for prime time.
I was like, he didn't know he was going to be on television. He wasn't ready for this moment.
He wasn't ready for prime time.
This is the biggest moment in your life, and you got the fucking buckwheat? Like, come on, bro.
Buckwheat. That fucking rascals. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's looking sad for them. What are we doing with the Purdy situation? He's a starter next year? Easily? No debate?
I think they'll do the, like, him and Trey Lance are going to have a competition all offseason. And then right before the season starts, they'll probably trade Trey Lance to somebody and just keep Brock Purdy.
Maybe.
But I don't know. At this point, it's like the door is open for everything. Like if Brock Purdy had taken him to the Super Bowl and all that other stuff, you got to be like, dude, you can't move on from the kid.
Brock Purdy?
Yeah, it's like what if Aaron Rodgers is like, dude, I don't like it. It's cold. I'm sick of all this fucking cheese, man. I'm on a diet. Like if he picks up the phone, he's like, dude, I want to go down to San Francisco and play with this collection of talent you have here. You think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are saying, no, you can't have Trey Lance or Brock Purdy?
I don't know, man. I mean, the Rodgers situation is tricky, but he's getting paid a lot of money. That's. I don't know if San Francisco can take that on. That's $60 million. Like, I think there's a deadline in order for them to not take the full 60. I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it's like July or something, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I will say this.
Yo, these NFL players are stupid, bro. They need to structure their contracts like LeBron. Like, every year needs to be a player option. Like, every year, I'm opted in. I get to choose at the end of my deal. Or I'm doing a... Huh?
Does the NFL have player options?
Yeah, but it's really rare. Like,
Yeah,
I think Garoppolo had one. I think Garoppolo has one where he can opt in for the 49ers or become a free agent. But it's like you rarely see that shit. And if you guys are fucking smart, it's like that's how you keep the control back on your side. It's like Aaron Rodgers, I don't have to worry about the Packers. I'll fucking opt out. How about that? I'll go to the 49ers for free as a free agent.
Yeah, the NFL is just tricky. You know they don't be playing that shit. I will say this, though. You picking Purdy or you picking Trey Lance? You haven't seen much.
I mean, you got to pick Purdy at this point, right? You got to.
I don't think he was doing a lot for me. I mean, after that, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, he was 4 for 4 before he got hurt. He didn't even throw an incomplete pass, because they called his shot put attempt.
It was a fumble.
When they talk about like empty hand, that's the definition. Like they slapped the ball out his hand and then he punched that shit like a goalkeeper 30 yards past the line of scrimmage.
That shit was going. It was a fumble. 4 for 4, 23 yards. Like that's what we're doing. This is what he does the whole time he's been doing this shit. I want to see some excitement. Give me a wrinkle in the offense. I mean, San Francisco thought they could just Garoppolo their way back to the Super Bowl again. You saw what happened last time. He needed one throw. Fucking overthrew your boy, and he was wide open.
Well, dude, I think it was that Kyle Shanahan hubris. You know what I mean? That, I'm going to out-coordinate you, and I'm going to attack these matchups, and I'm going to isolate these guys. And they're like, fine, you can get Debo one-on-one with our corner, but guess what? Your second tight end is also one-on-one with our best pass rusher. Like, go ahead. We'll take these matchups. And I feel like Kyle Shanahan got ahead of himself in trying to attack all down the field and put these guys in conflict, and he forgot the most important thing. You got to protect your fucking quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, those are probably the two best O-line and D-line probably in the NFL. And unfortunate, that we didn't get to see a true fight. The 49ers gave up. Trent Williams said, fuck it, I'm out of here, and just slammed that dude from Philly. I love Trent Williams every year. If he's out, he's like, oh, I'm out of here. I'm not staying out here for 5 more minutes. You fucking kidding me? Come here. That shit was hilarious. But, yeah, it's over. Purdy's probably the starter, I guess. I don't know. It's a true fight, though, because Trey Lance is going to be fully healthy, full training camp and all that shit. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm just saying, if somebody, like, you turned the game off. I didn't turn the game off. I stuck through it. It seemed like Kyle Shanahan deliberately tried not to win the rest of this game so he could be like, oh, yeah, the only reason we lost is because our quarterback's got hurt.
How can you can't win? You can't win with no quarterback.
I don't know. Maybe put somebody on your roster who could throw the ball at quarterback. You have guys who played quarterback in fucking high school. They had like a defensive back who played quarterback. Like, I remember when Mohamed Sanu, when Kyle Shanahan was our offensive coordinator, Mohamed Sanu had like 4 touchdown passes. And he barely even played quarterback. And that wasn't even in a must-have-it situation. And then you get to a situation where it's like, hey, can we have a guy who could possibly throw the ball? No, let's not do it. It's too risky.
You just wanted to see more gumption. You think they just waved the white towel.
Yeah, man. Like, even Andy Reid and the Chiefs, like, it was a tie game, and they were running trickeration. Travis Kelce was fucking throwing a lateral to the sidelines on a hook and lateral play. Like, they have all these parts moving around and all these things, and it's like, they're in a tie game with everything on the line, and they're doing this. You guys have nothing to fucking lose. No one in the world is going to be like, oh, man, the 49ers really blew it when they put McCaffrey at quarterback. Like, no, you had nothing to lose. You 100% could have gone for it. That last quarter of football should have been the most interesting quarter that I've watched all year. I was like, oh, we're finally going to get to see hybrid rugby football, that evolution, 10 guys in space. Zeke Elliott is lined up at center. Let's fucking see it. No, we'll just line up a guy that the defense knows is physically incapable of throwing the ball for a quarter and a half until the clock runs out.
That's what a lot of people said, but
it was cowardly. It was boring. And I was like, if you're going to go out, bro, don't go out like that. Being like, I'll die a slow death of poison. No, go get a shotgun and go blow your head off. At least make the shit interesting.
Why would you put someone back there just to get hounded by the Philly D-line? Like, that's a horrible move. He already did it to Josh Johnson. He was like, I can't do it to another man. That's just fucked up. Two quarterbacks hurt. You just going to throw somebody back there and be like, look, man, you're going to get hit. Like, you want to do it or not? No, I'm not getting in the ring.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
You getting there? Fuck
Guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to, like, put you back there and then be like, we're not going to have any help from the tight ends or running backs blocking these guys. Like, I'm not going to put you back. Oh, yeah.
Wavy, baby. I'm not getting anybody else hurt. That's a waste. I'm not doing that to another human being. Are you fucking crazy? But
the Chiefs will do it in a fucking tie game. And they got laterals all over the place and hooking ladders and all this creativity. But the 49ers down 25, you don't have a quarterback on your roster. We can't do any of that. Okay.
Maybe they don't have as much creativity as we thought. Maybe they're just switching dudes and making them do different shit on positions, but they still need a quarterback to throw them the ball. Like, you can't just have someone back there. Like, it's not
First of all, man, this is the NFL. These are elite athletes. Somebody on the team could throw a fucking 7-yard slant. I promise you. Somebody on the team could throw a 7-yard slant.
Eagles
and they had like two guys who used to be quarterbacks in high school. It's like you didn't forget how to throw a fucking easy pass.
You can't do it, bro.
Get the people what they want. Don't just let the time run out. It was like you remember when Ja Morant like walked the dog for 40 seconds against the Hornets and they just didn't make him pick the ball up and he just ran out the clock. That was the fourth quarter of this game. It was just the 49ers walking the dog for a whole fourth quarter and then being like, oh, thank God the time ran out and we lost by 30.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't want to be a receiver on the 49ers. I'll tell you that. That shit was a joke. I wouldn't even lined up. I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? I'm not blocking. Like, just go jumbo set. Fuck it. Let's run it every play. If you're going to run it, jumbo. No disguising. Just go for it. I'm not getting on the field. If I was Debo, are you kidding me? Good, bro. Nah, you got that.
Trent Williams is like, line me up in the slot, coach.
But yeah, that was that game. That was a waste. Other game, though, your boys, the Bengals versus the Chiefs. Mr.
Now,
Joe Burrow.
For clarity, who did I pick to win this game, Terry?
I don't remember. That was last week. Did we even do predictions, or were we just talking? We did. No, we didn't do predictions because we missed.
Yeah, we did. We did Super Bowl predictions. Who's going to get there?
Oh, did we? I don't remember. What was it? Chiefs, Eagles?
I picked Chiefs and 49ers. Obviously, I couldn't have seen that shit coming. But even with all my Joe Burrow love, man, I still felt like, they won their first 3 games by a combined total of 9 points. They're out here talking about Burrowhead, and the whole team is talking about how they own this stadium.
Yeah.
And fucking your boy Eli Apple is tweeting out Cancun on 3 and rubbing it in everyone's faces. I was like, dude, 3 offensive linemen out. Everyone's like, oh, they cleaned it up against the Bills. They had no problem. I was like, yeah, the Bills couldn't fucking rush the passer without Von Miller. They had a bunch of guys who couldn't do anything. Came into this game, Chris Jones, he was like, hey, the Hood cereal bowl? That's like a mixing bowl with a gigantic spoon.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
That's what he pulled out to eat today. Chris Jones, he was like, against the left tackle? No. Against the guard? No. Center? No. Right tackle to end the game on the last play for the Bengals? No. There was no fucking stopping that man. He ran roughshod through their entire fucking offensive line, looking like they're made of paper mache. Joe Burrow couldn't get the ball out quick enough. He might have to do some squats and whatever Meg the Stallion's offseason plan to get some more padding on his rear end for the amount of times that he was knocked onto it. But in the end of the day, dude, the 2 best quarterbacks came down to the last minute We all thought Burrow was going to get it done.
No.
The Chiefs make a phenomenal play to break it up and intercept him. And then Patrick Mahomes on the high ankle sprain. He can't move around. He can't extend the plays. It hurts him too much. He's got to hang in the pocket. On the biggest play of the game, he took off for a 15-yard scramble to win the game. Got pushed out of bounds after the end of the play. Made it an even shorter field goal. Game, set, match, Arrowhead.
Joe Osai, baby. Shout out to him, whatever his first name is. I'm calling everybody Joe on the Bengals. That's their first name. Joe Osai.
I was like,
Joe
that's a fucking owner of the Nets.
What is that guy's last name? Osai? It's Osai, something like that. Huge mistake.
It's Michael Osei. He bulked. He started bulking.
Huge mistake.
They got him a special helmet that's flat at the back.
That's facts. That's facts. But let's bring it back to the beginning, right? So the Bengals last week feeling mighty after beating the Bills. It's always something I remember from that Raiders-Pats game. You know, the tuck rule game? Some shit I always remember from NFL films. The dudes were saying, you know, every time it's a snow game, they're like, yeah, just run the ball, blah, blah, blah. And this dude, I forget who it was. I think it was an O-lineman from the Raiders. It might have been Penn or somebody. I don't remember who it was. But he was like, yeah, we couldn't run because nobody had footing. So we just passed it like 45 times because the pass rush couldn't move their feet. Like every time it snows, I always thought about that. And I was like, damn, the Bills ain't about to get to Burrow. Nobody's getting to any quarterback because they ain't got no pass rush in the snow. So everybody's like, oh, the whole lineman doesn't matter. They're good. We see them on the grass, a regular field at Arrowhead, getting absolutely ate on, just like you said. Chris Jones out there looking like Aaron Donald. Like, that shit was outstanding. That was the best game I've ever seen him play. He had no career playoff sacks before that game. None. Zero. Great player. All his fucking sacks for the playoffs in that game today, like, or yes, whenever it was this weekend. Awesome. Mahomes.
I feel like they finally put him as the, like, guy to get freed up. Like, before when they had Justin Houston and, it was like D Ford and whatnot. It's like, we're getting these outside linebackers one-on-ones. But they're like, no, you're the guy. Like, we're going to get you the one-on-ones. And he was like, okay. And I'm really hungry.
You got to give it up. And the Chiefs defense stepped up huge. We didn't think they were that, like, you know, of course their numbers looked like they were pretty good this year, you know, opposed to some of the years before. But I don't know. I didn't know if I had complete faith in them. But they kind of stepped up big, bro. They really did. I got to give it to them because they were down, I think, like their best linebacker and their best corner in that fucking game. And I'm just like, damn, bro. They still out there dominating.
And like 3 wide receivers.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that was tough. Tony was out. Juju got hurt in that game. Who else got hurt in that game?
Michael Hardman.
Yep. Nicole. I mean, Mahomes. When we were talking about Brady being the GOAT and he could have any receiver, he could pick anybody from the stands and still win a fucking game like when he was in his prime. That's exactly what Mahomes did. And I said this shit during the Super Bowl, and you were just looking at me like I'm crazy. When they lost to the Bucs, when the Chiefs lost to the Bucs in that Super Bowl that Brady won, I said, you just witnessed the best quarterback ever. Mahomes was fucking like Superman throwing shit to Tyreek, hitting him in his fucking helmet. And Tyreek said, oh, I'm a number one. I deserve to get paid. You were dropping candy like right in front of your face, dog. Mahomes was out there running for his life.
And no one will forget that one that was like he ran 75 yards behind the line of scrimmage and like made a gigantic figure 8 and then threw the shit. It was like,
bro, the kid's nice. I don't even know why we doubted him. I mean, gimped up, high ankle sprain, bro. This dude, his pain tolerance is on Kobe level, bro. Straight up. That shit was so impressive.
I think it wasn't us doubting Mahomes. It was doubting like the collection of talent around him. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I guess.
When we were talking about the defense, you know, Chris Jones jumps off the paper, but you mentioned there's no Honey Badger back there. Like, they don't have the household names that casual people gravitate to like that. And then, like, on the offensive side of the ball, you know, you're like, this collection of wide receivers isn't it. It's Travis Kelce. You're figuring out the run game with, like, a journeyman guy and Jerick McKinnon and a fucking 6th-round pick rookie in Isaiah Pacheco. And they're like, and they're like, Mahomes is just making it all work himself because he's that good. And is he going to be able to continue making this work if he's 70% or something like that? And the answer was yes.
Yeah.
Like, he was navigating the pocket. He was throwing off one foot and spinning his other foot around out of the pass rush so he couldn't get tangled up. He was scrambling for the yards when he needed them. He was extended plays. He was not extending plays and just throwing the ball away when it was prudent.
Yeah.
He completely like adapted his game, man. And like the level of toughness that he showed physically and mentally in that game to elevate his teammates, to make the plays when they were there to be made, to deliver the ball in the tightest of windows off a variety of platforms, off balance, whatever. Like every throw he made was like an Instagram throw. Every single one he made in this game. There were like no throws where he just had time and stepped up regular and just uncorked it. Like every single one is off 1 foot into a tight window. And he just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. It was witnessing greatness right there. Just like when you see something and it looks different, and it's like there's some guys you watch them and you're like, wow, this guy just is different than everyone on the field, like Ja Morant. But is he the best player in the NBA? No, we all know the answer. He's the 13th. But with Patrick Mahomes, it's the culmination of the two. It's like my eyes are telling me that you're doing something that no one else in the NFL can do, and the results are telling me that it's leading you guys to unprecedented amounts of victory.
Yeah.
So,
like, it was like the shit I was telling you before. Like, the way that he plays, it's kind of like Josh Allen in a way, like that the excitement of what he does. And if he's winning, we're always going to say this dude's like better than what the fuck we've seen before. Because what we've seen is greatness in Tom Brady, but it's all pocket shit. It's all a little bit maneuver of the feet in the pocket, but he's not scrambling. Like this dude is scrambling, making behind the back stupid throws. Like it's ridiculous. And this performance on one leg, you have to give it up to the kid, man. Like
this is one of his greatest performance. And if you like looked at the stat sheet, you're like 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know, for anyone else, it would be a great game. You know, not by Mahomes' standards, but it was how he did it. And it was the moments in which he came through huge for his team.
The big one for me was at the end, man. I honestly, like, as ugly as like the Bengals played, they still had a couple chances in the fourth to kind of drive down and win the game. And Burrow really didn't get it done. You know, his excuse, of course, is the O-line, but I mean, imagine if fucking Chase.
Yeah, but it's like before that third down, it's like you had 2 plays before that you didn't do shit on either. Like,
but like, can you imagine if fucking Chase, Higgins, and Boyd were on the Chiefs? Like, what the fuck are we even talking about? Like, is this even a game?
Yeah.
I guess this is a separation. Like, the Bengals defense is outstanding. We got to give it up to them. So, you know, Burrow's always going to have that, at least it seems like for the next couple years. But as far as talent, it's a little different. Like, Burrow's great. But this dude Mahomes, like we were saying earlier, I mean, I guess it's the separation. Like, we thought the gap was closing.
But you can't have it all. Like, it's like Mahomes has the elite line, but he lacks the elite weapons.
Yeah.
Burrow has elite weapons, but he has a shitty line. It's like, and if you have both, you have a shitty defense. Like, this is the way the NFL works, man. You can't pay everybody. So I just think it's like, we can dead all this Justin Herbert, fucking Josh Allen shit. Like, this is Pat Mahomes versus Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning versus Kurt Warner for the next fucking 10 plus years. This is their league.
What?
Yeah, before Tom Brady came around.
Oh, okay. What? Why? What the fuck? Why even bring Kurt Warner to get out of here? This is Brady versus Manning. I wanted that fucking Kurt.
I'm not gonna lie. This is how old I am. I used to have a book that was like Peyton Manning versus Kurt Warner, and the first half of the book was Peyton Manning, and the second half was Kurt Warner. Talk about how their career paths ended. Kurt Warner, the Arena League guy, and Peyton Manning, the #1 pick, and who's going to be the best quarterback? It was like, oh, actually, it's going to be Tom Brady, a guy who's not even in this book.
Wait, what? First of all, the comparison is Brady Manning because they're in the same conference. They're not in the same division, but they still play. They seems like they play each other almost every year. And Burrow had his number, but now, you know, we're 3-1. Mahomes finally got his win in Arrowhead, not Burrowhead. That shit. If they would have shut their mouth, I'm telling you, they could have got the dub. They were talking too much shit.
Just the same way we were talking about, like, guys do spectacular things that no one else can do. And so we tend to overrate them because it's like you make the spectacular play that we're like, oh, he's the only guy in the league who could do this.
Yeah.
Eli Apple suffers from, like, a separate affliction the other way on the spectrum, where it's like his bad moments are so bad that it's like you think that he won't be on a roster next season.
Yeah.
But then he'll play like consistently for the rest of the year and then get in the big moment and fucking just go into a coma again. Persistent vegetative state.
He was a waste of space, honestly. He
was a Vietnamese cucumber salad.
Yeah, he used to be decent. But if you can't guard Marquez Valdez-Scantling, like, I'm not even trying to hear you talk, bro. Like, you got dusted a couple times. And Milton got dusted. They said who coined Burrowhead. Just shut up, guys. Like, you guys got a great D-line, and your linebackers are decent, too. You guys in the secondary, kind of trash. Shut the fuck up and just play the game, bro. Like, you guys, you ain't got it. Just let your boy Joe do it. Shut up. We don't need to hear you talk, ever. And I know the confidence got you into the NFL, but be humble. Sit down, in the words of Kendrick. It's done for you. I don't want to hear you talk. Plus, I don't know, man. Mahomes is the dude. That's all I want to say, bro. He's a GOAT. He's a goddamn GOAT, bro. And you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. This dude, I told you before, he's the best I've ever seen. He's catching up to some of Brady's passing playoff records already. Half the games, dude. It's insane.
It's unreal.
Back it up.
And Tom Brady has played 3 full seasons of postseason games. He's played an additional 3 seasons, and Pat Mahomes has already like equaled his numbers in half the time.
Let me rattle something off for you real quick. Mahomes had, and this is like all quarterbacks who have 12 starts in the playoffs. Mahomes is first in passer rating. He's first in completion percentage. He's first in yards per game. He's first in pass touchdowns a game. And his touchdown to interception ratio is first. He's first in all that shit in all playoff games. For 12 starts or more, any quarterback. Dude's a fucking beast. I don't want to hear anybody keep talking about, like, somebody's catching up. They're not catching up to him, bro. Teams win the games, but if you give him a chance to get a game time or win in field goal, he's going to get you in the fucking position. And you can say Osai wanted to, that was a horrible flag and all that type of shit. We can talk about the ref thing if we want to, but that shit was a penalty. And Mahomes had one fucking leg. That was the only time we saw him really rush the whole game. Greatness, bro. Absolute greatness.
Do you believe in the conspiracy, the referee conspiracy, that they gave them 3 extra chances on that last drive for the Chiefs?
3 extra chances? I mean, look, they missed. I feel like they did miss the block in the back on the punt return, but
they definitely missed that. They called a intentional grounding on Joe Burrow when fucking P. Ryan was 3 feet away from the ball. What? He was right next to where he threw the ball. He threw it at his feet.
The thing for me.
No. If that was fucking Donovan McNabb instead of Joe Burrow, they would have been like, "Oh, just another play."
He throws it in the ground. Look, the calls that they called, I think the calls that they called were all flags. I think they missed a bunch of calls.
Even the grounding one, you really believe in that?
P. Ryan was 5 yards up the field from the line of scrimmage. He's 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. Burrow backs up, 5-step drop, throws it right at the center. I get dude's probably 5 yards away, but he pretty much just straight threw it in the ground. Like, if P. Ryan was a little closer to the line of scrimmage, I'll give it to him. But
listen, man, we know he wasn't trying to complete the pass, but P. Ryan was there. That's the rule. If there's a receiver in the area, it's not intentional grounding. Did it make it back to the line of scrimmage? Yes. No. Was there a receiver in the area? Yes. Did it make it back to the line of scrimmage?
No.
It did.
No, it didn't.
It did. That's not why they threw the penalty. They said it did. They're like, they called it because there wasn't a receiver in the area. That's why.
That was a wrong explanation because that shit did not make the line of scrimmage. Not to me. He threw that shit straight. 5-step drop and threw it straight down almost. He threw it 4 yards forward, bro. He did not reach the line of scrimmage. That's a fucking grounding. They missed calls, but they didn't. The calls they made, they were all fucking penalties. I don't want to hear that shit.
What about the one where they blew the play dead and everyone kept playing and nobody heard it? And then after the play ended, they're like, actually, we're just going to run this back again, even though all of you guys kept playing.
Burrow had his loud as shit. Yeah, they fucked up on that one. But when I was reading some, articles on it and information on those type of situations, because they ran it back, twice or just once? It was once and then it was another.
They ran it back once. But it was like on the 3rd down that they actually played out and stopped them.
So, like, there is an official that looks at the clock, and the clock wasn't moving. So, like, even though the play started and they tried to blow it dead, they have to run it back. It seemed fishy when I was watching it because I didn't have the volume up. So I'm just looking at the game, And then all of a sudden I'm just like, hey, yo, what the fuck? Like, they running this back? Why? They already played it. And then I was like, I turned it up and I was like, oh, okay, got it. But when you read up on it, like, if the clock doesn't start, no matter what happens on the play, they have to run it back. Like, if Mahomes threw a 7-yard bomb and they run it back, we're not having this conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I feel you. You just think that they would actually, like, whistle the play dead. You know what I mean? Like, that happens, the fourth official runs onto the fucking field, like, hey, guys, everyone fucking whistles it. It doesn't matter if you're 5 steps into the play. Like, we see that all the time where it's like the running back already got the ball, and it's like, stop in your tracks. We blew this dead. They didn't do it. They let the whole fucking play out, and then at the end, they're like, actually, sorry, guys, I don't know if you saw the PS at the end of the letter.
It was strange, but, I mean, the Chiefs ended up putting in that possession anyway, so it's like kind of a moot point. I get it, though. It was.
I will say, I thought the play of the game, like, until Mahomes' scramble, was that pass that Burrow threw into double coverage where Jamar Chase went up and got that shit near the end zone.
Oh, that was nice. I thought that T. Higgins catch was nice as fuck, too, though.
Yeah, it was, but that Jamar Chase one is like, that window was so fucking small. The whole everything for you to complete that was like no fucking margin of error whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, if they win that game, that's like the play of the game. Yeah, for me, it reminded me of that Julio catch near the sideline in the Super Bowl. It's like, oh, we're in field goal range. All we got to do now is kick it and we win. Yeah. Same shit with Jamar Chase. He goes up, catches a 50-yard pass over 2 guys. We're at the 8-yard line, and it all fell apart. But look, man, Joe Burrow, like we talked about Pat Mahomes, and we're like, he's on the throne, and there's not even a person who's like realistically second. And we need to stop like fucking around and acting like they're legitimately challenges. Burrow's second. He's definitely second right now. But how much could this change in 2 weeks if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl and looks pretty good doing it?
Yeah, nah, Hurts needs a little more time. More time. This is one legit season of being really good, like MVP conversation wise. So he needs another year.
But they haven't lost with him all season, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they've lost with him all season. It's like you come in your second year and basically have an undefeated season and win the Super Bowl. It's like, why wouldn't we be talking about you like you're the next guy in the league? I can't have leapfrog Joe Burrow.
I can't give him second only because, like, if he had one bad game before week 4 or 5, they would have benched him. So I can't do that. That was the conversation. So I can't automatically just move you to second off of one season.
I'm just out here to talk out both sides of my mouth, Terry, because even though I just said like next 10 years, it's Burrow and Mahomes, I actually think the comparison I made was perfect. Kurt Warner and Peyton Manning. Because when that book came out, Terry, that's how people saw the league. And there was no room for a young guy named Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
Yeah.
And like right now, it seems very much the same way. It's Joe Burrow and Pat Mahomes. But if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl in 2 weeks and he gets the Super Bowl before Joe Burrow gets his, and he's above Joe Burrow in the MVP voting at the end of the year, it's like we don't look back at fucking, what was his name? Phil Simms, the Buffalo Bills quarterback when they lost 4. We don't look back at him like he's on the same level as Jim Kelly. Sorry.
Yeah.
We don't look at Jim Kelly on the same level as John Elway.
No.
It didn't matter that you got there 4 times and that your team is the best team in the AFC for a half a decade.
Yeah.
What matters at the end of the day is what you want. And so for all this current narrative about Joe Burrow and it being his and Mahomes' league, if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, that conversation has to change. And it's got to be him and Mahomes.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. He needs a whole nother season, dog. I'm telling you.
It's not like fucking Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl for the Eagles. Like, if they win, it's going to be largely because of Jalen Hurts and what he's done all season. He made the playoffs last year, as a rookie playing.
Wild card, yep. They got
it's like if this was anybody else, we probably would have anointed him already. But for some reason, we haven't.
Well, you had a bad rookie season. They made the playoffs, but it's like, dude, rushed for 800 yards. Like, quarterbacks pass. I get he wins, but you got to pass. You have to be able to pass. And he passed this year. Great. was a great success passing. Like I think he was a really good quarterback. At the end of the day, talk to me week 10 next week or next year. If he wins this Super Bowl and week 10 coming in, the Eagles are like 9-1 or 8-2 or above, then we can have him in the conversation. Otherwise, he's there, but not yet. He's still young too. I know Burrow is young as well.
Yeah, I just feel like there's something about Jalen Hurts that we're not giving him his just desserts.
He's a
like
beast.
if it was Josh Allen who was in the same position instead of Jalen Hurts, lost in the same round of the playoffs last year, didn't win a playoff game, takes your team all the way to the Super Bowl, wins it. If it was just Josh Allen, the name, instead of Jalen Hurts, everyone would be like, oh, yeah, he's the second best quarterback in the league.
We
for
gotta
sure.
compare stats, though. Josh Allen's passing stats are crazy. He rushes, but it's not like Jalen Hurts does. It's just the passing stats. Like if Jalen Hurts had 40 touchdowns and
I'd be interested to see the side-by-side. Do you have time to look that up?
I can look it up. But I mean,
Yeah.
everybody, it's the John Morant shit, bro. Like John Morant is great, but like if John Morant wins the fucking finals, we're gonna be like, holy shit! Like the way he plays is just way more exciting than how Jalen Hurts plays. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just wonder, Terry, like as usual, like it's a familiar refrain on this podcast that everything in America is colored by race. And it's no coincidence that for the first time in NFL history, we have two black quarterbacks playing each other in the Super Bowl. And nobody is talking about one of them like he's any good.
So I got the stats pulled up. Jalen Hurts, 66% completion percentage, 3,700 yards, 22 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Josh Allen, 63%, 4,200 yards, 35 passing touchdowns, 14 picks. 13 more passing touchdowns, 600 more passing yards.
How many more picks?
That's a lot of picks. A lot. Gets the people going. If Jalen Hurts had 35 passing touchdowns, like when he passes, Brown and fucking Smith are really nice. And Goddard, adds a nice little, wrinkle in the offense. But I need 30. This is a passing league, right?
Man, fuck that shit. He gets so many on the ground, and his team has been blowing everyone out all year. Josh Allen, I'm sorry your team has no running game, and you get a bunch of extra rushing touchdowns and rush yards because your team refuses to run the ball. But the Eagles could actually run the ball. They don't have to throw it 50 times a game and make Jalen Hurts be their running back too.
Like I said, I'm not doing the whole color thing because I said the way that John Morant plays, it's a different sport. We will anoint that motherfucker. It's just the way that Josh Allen plays. It's amazing. Jalen Hurts doesn't play amazingly. He does simple shit. He's like Russell Wilson in a way, which is a black-on-black crime. But he plays like him.
He's like if Josh Allen was smarter and had mental discipline.
If Josh Allen threw for 22 touchdowns and 6 picks with 3,700 yards, we'd be like, that's probably the worst season he's ever had since his rookie.
Nah.
If
the Bills saw Josh Allen go a whole season and only throw 6 picks, they'd be like, we're going to the Super Bowl. 100%.
22 touchdown passes, though? Fuck no.
With the number one rushing offense in the NFL, that's what you're forgetting, dude. It's not just in a vacuum. Like, he's doing it all. He's getting them in the right spots. He's unselfishly, calling plays so his teammates can succeed. It doesn't have to be about Jalen Hurts for them to win. And you can't say that about a lot of other quarterbacks who consider themselves to be elite guys.
So even with Jalen Hurts rushing touchdowns, which is 13, it'd be the same amount of touchdowns total. So Josh Allen has some rushing touchdowns. He still has more. 700 rushing yards, too, for Jalen Hurts. I mean, I like Jalen. And honestly, for me, I love running quarterbacks. But if we want to talk about quarterback on quarterback, I need some passing stats. I'm just saying, if we're in a passing league and they're calling a lot of, fucking pass, whatever the fuck, when you're hitting a quarterback, what's it called? You know what I'm talking about. Roughing the passer. If they're calling a bunch of roughing the passers, protecting the quarterbacks, trying to get them to 4,000 and 5,000 yards passing, I need 4,000. You're only 300 yards away, and I need 30 touchdowns. That's all I'm saying. Get me Dak Prescott.
Hey, you know what? If he plays 3 more games this year and instead of Gardner Minshew, he gets it. He gets it.
Probably. And we have a different conversation for me. I don't know about everybody else. I think Jalen Hurts is great. I just need better passing stats. That's it.
For me, it's like if we don't have this conversation, I got to look myself in the mirror. If he wins the Super Bowl and no one's asking if he's the second best quarterback in the league, I was like, I got to look myself in the mirror because why am I not asking this question? Because anyone else who did what he did and got his team to this point and wins the Super Bowl MVP, beats Patrick Mahomes, like, what are we talking about here? Of course he would be the second best.
I think Hurts is probably the second or third best leader.
Yeah, I mean, it might be the two best leaders at the quarterback position in the Super Bowl right now.
But
I mean, you could put Burrow up there because of how his guys ride for him, but there's no denying the impact that like overcoming adversity and galvanizing the guys around you and all the non-X's and O's stuff, how valuable that is, and you see it in Jalen Hurts. But I think the thing about him that I like the most that maybe be the reason why people aren't talking to him about like in the same light as some of these other guys is because for me, his biggest strength is what he doesn't do. He doesn't overextend himself. He doesn't put himself in bad situations. He doesn't make it about him over the team. Like, he doesn't throw people under the bus when things go wrong in post-game interviews. He plays within himself and the constructs of the offense, which is a really hard thing to do when you're a superstar caliber talent, to constantly be sacrificing and be aware of the bigger picture that's around you all the time. It's very Steph Curry-ish is what it reminds me of.
It is.
That he's like, I'll take less to do more. Yeah. And I'll be even more efficient in my less touches. Like, you don't see a lot of guys in the NFL act like that. And when we talked about the Bengals, it's all about Joe Burrow. And we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, it's all about Patrick Mahomes. But when we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, the first thing we talk about is their pass rush. The next thing we talk about is their run game. You know, like, we get to Jalen Hurts, and it's the third thing down the list. And that's just because he's an all-time great leader, and he has all-time great mental discipline.
No, he is.
And because he's not doing the bad things instead of doing the extraordinary things, we're like, I'm still waiting for him to go to the next level. I'm still waiting to see more. I've seen enough. This kid is a fucking baller. He's going to be a great quarterback.
No, nobody's saying he's not a baller, but the reason that they talk about those other things is because the Eagles had 70 sacks. And the Eagles had 2,500 rushing yards this season. Those are first and first. Hurts, 10th in passing touchdowns, maybe 11th. I mean,
but where's the team? It's like, that's the proof is in the pudding. He did less so the team could do more. And now, like, look where they're at now.
He can be talked about when he wins. You can't be correct. But the thing that Russell Wilson did, get to multiple Super Bowls. If he can do it, then I can talk about it. But just one isn't going to do it for me. It's just a conversation between me and you. I need more than one. I need a couple.
Well, Terry, we know in the NFL, if you black, you got to win. And you could ask Steve Wilkes if you want to know some further backup on that. After they passed him up for the Carolina Panthers job after going – he won as many games in 12 games as fucking Matt Rule did over the course of 2 years.
Matt Rule, man. Matt Rule getting the Nebraska coaching job is an absolute fucking disgrace. It's like, they're going to lose anyways because they're not going to get any recruits. But he didn't deserve to get another fucking job, especially a job that big. No fucking way. Not after what he did in Carolina, bro. Like, come on.
Bro, you know my geography is shit. Is Nebraska close to Colorado?
Yeah, it's close. It's not, like, super close.
Yes. Dion's getting all your fucking blue chip guys. Sorry. It's payback for Steve Wilkes, motherfucker. But for Steve Wilkes, it's like, I didn't think he was the best choice for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm just so sick of how the NFL constantly does these black coaches where it's like, we'll fire the white guy 8 games into the season, then make you the interim coach and give you all the same shitty spare parts that this guy couldn't win with. And then when you win like 4 more games than he was supposed to, we're like, yeah, but you didn't make the playoffs. We're looking for the guy who can take us over the hump and get to the next level. And then you just fucking let him go. Whether it's Raheem Morris, who we fucking did this shit to in Atlanta, whether it's Brian Flores, who they were telling to lose games in fucking Miami, or whether it's Steve Wilkes, or whether it's fucking Lovie Smith, or the guy before him in Houston who both got scapegoated. I forget his name now.
It's the Houston job. It's fucking just in trouble.
It's like the NFL has figured out a loophole in the Rooney Rule that's like, oh, if we just make a black guy the interim coach, then he counts as the guy that we interview during the next process, and everyone will think that we're legitimately going to give him the job. It's two birds with one stone, and then we can give it to a 6-year-old white guy anyway.
To give it to Frank Reich.
Right, because his last stop was so inspirational, so inspiring to watch him fuck around with Matt Ryan, bench him for I don't even know who they're playing, like Sam Ellinger. The year before that,
was coach?
Was he? Was he all the way?
Luck retire?
He may have been. He made Luck retire. He made Phillip Rivers retire. He's about to make Carson Wentz retire, and Matt Ryan is going to retire too.
Hold on. I need to look this up. And Nebraska borders Colorado, by the way, while we're talking about it, while I'm looking it up.
There you go. He's fucked. The only person who came out of retirement was Jeff Saturday.
Bro, all I'm saying for that situation, while I'm still looking this shit up, like, Nick Saban sucked in the NFL, but at least he won a championship at LSU before he got the Alabama job. Like, Matt Rule didn't win shit at Baylor, dog. That's all I'm saying. The disrespect for these black coaches is crazy. Fucking insane, brother. I'm just saying. You're right. Frank Reich. Oh, they gave me his fucking playing career.
And who's the other guy? Fucking Deuce Staley, who gets interviewed every single time, every cycle. He's had like fucking 25 interviews. He never even gets to the second round. They're like, oh, yeah. Well, what was that black guy's name that's always in the circle? Oh, yeah, Deuce. Throw him in here. Well, bring him into Arizona. We'll give him a look before we hire some 32-year-old fucking offensive coordinator from college. The whole system, man, is so disingenuous, and it's so shitty. And I feel bad for Steve Wilkes, who couldn't have done any more with that terrible Carolina team. Fucking playing Baker Mayfield, goddamn PJ Walker, and Sam Darnold. And with 3 quarterbacks starting for him, he somehow goes 500. And they're like, nah, man, we got to bring in Frank Reich, who's been fucking terrible for 4 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know.
As a Falcons fan, this makes me happy because the Panthers are going to suck. But as a person with a conscience, this makes me upset.
He was the coach of Andrew Luck. Because when did Luck retire? 2018? 2019? What year was it?
I don't even know, bro.
2018.
I haven't thought about Andrew Luck in some time.
He retired in 2018 when he went 10-6. And I believe they went to the playoffs that year.
So that was the last time Frank Reich coached a good team.
And they won a game.
After that, we watched them melt down with Phillip Rivers, miss out on the playoffs after they were like 3 games up at the end of the season, culminating in a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars at the helm of Urban Meyer to miss the playoffs. And then this year, you get fired for a guy who's never fucking coached football ever before in his life. And the team wins its next game.
That was the last straw. That Urban Meyer loss. Anybody who lost to Urban Meyer, they got to get fired. Like, we got to look at the fucking record books. And if you got an L, you got to go. You got to get the fuck out of here. Because he was the worst. He was the worst coach I've ever seen.
Moreover, the Colts actually looked like a better team, like, through the first 3 quarters of every game, and then they just fall apart in the fourth quarter because Jeff Saturday didn't know what the fuck he was doing. But if a guy like is coming in off his couch and wearing a clip-on tie for ESPN, and he takes your job and they look better for 3 quarters, that's not a ringing endorsement. That doesn't like say to me, hey, I need to give you $70 million to be our coach for the next 5 years. Like, I'm sure they're paying him stupid money, dude. Do you remember how much money they gave Matt Rule?
Yeah, a lot. A lot of fucking money for no fucking reason.
Meanwhile, Steve Wilkes is like, what the fuck do I got to do? I'm from Charlotte. I went to fucking like West Charlotte High School. I've coached locally here. I'm invested in the community. All the players campaign for me publicly on Twitter.
Yeah.
I didn't have a losing season despite having fucking terrible talent on the roster. You guys gave me Baker Mayfield, PJ Walker, and Sam Darnold and said, figure it out, and I did. And this is how you reward me?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, for him to even like be close to making the playoffs with that fucking roster of quarterbacks, it's a great coaching job. You know, like it's nothing he did wrong. I don't think, not in my book. He deserves.
And they would have made the playoffs if DJ Moore didn't take his helmet off at the end of the Falcons game and lose it. They would have made the playoffs and had a winning record if DJ Moore just didn't take his helmet off. So now you're telling me that you passed on Steve Wilkes because DJ Moore couldn't remember the game is still going?
I'm not even going to go DJ Moore. I'm giving it to the kicker on that one. Like DJ, I get it. He fucked up. But Santos missed a 48-yard field goal. That's not a crazy amount of yards. That's fair. The next field goal in overtime to win, 38 yards. Shank the fuck out of it. DJ, you're off the hook because he missed a 38-yarder, dog. Like, no, I can't go for that.
Either way, if he doesn't get fucked that game, he goes 7-5. They make the playoffs. He has a winning record as an interim coach.
Yeah.
And we probably think about this entire thing way different. But because of that 1 second that he couldn't control, now 6-6 not good enough, didn't have a winning record, didn't lead us to the playoffs. We got to find somebody who has playoff experience, who's going to take us to the next level. All could have been that different from something that happens that has nothing to do with anything.
David Temper, man, come on, dog. Frank Reich, he lost to Urban Meyer. Like, that is disrespect.
Did you see, too, that his wife got disciplined by the NFL for being part of their hiring process?
Who, Frank Reich or David Temper?
No, David Tepper. She was part of the hiring committee despite not undergoing any of the, like, racial diversity, sensitivity training, any of the things that you're required to do by the NFL to understand how these processes work. Man, it's no surprise that they passed over to fucking black coach for some 60-year-old white guy when she missed out on the training. Wow, who could have seen this coming?
That's crazy, dude.
And the stories that always come out about this shit, they'll be like, yeah, and then we had dinner with him at our house with our whole family, and we just connected, and we just felt like it was so right, and we hit it off right there at dinner, and we felt like I really understand this guy. No shit.
Right,
he looks just like all the people you fucking hang out with. You think that you're gonna you have no black friends, you billionaire with your wife that refuses to go sensitivity training. You think you just go bring some dude, a hardened guy off the fucking streets of Charlotte who worked his way up all the way through the league to earn the position he had instead of where you are, and you think that you're going to be able to hit it off and relate to this guy the same way you would a 50-some-year-old Frank Reich? Yeah. Come on, man. And this is the criteria that we're making to lead our franchise for 7 years. Who gets along with my wife and my kids at dinner? That's like all the people are like, I voted for George Bush because it seemed like I could get a beer with him. Who gives a fuck? Because
he's stupid? Like, that's so stupid. Look, bro, with all due respect, let's go on a cook. Let's go on a cook fest. 2018, Frank Reich, 10-6, with Andrew Luck, who is the chosen fucking one, who was in, 30 maybe? 31? Yeah. Wasn't even that old.
And a stacked defense.
Yeah. They go 10-6 in the AFC South with the fucking Jaguars.
And the Texans.
Good at that time. I don't even know. But,
they weren't. Yeah, they had Blake Bortles.
The Texans were never really that good. And who else is in there? Fucking the Titans? And like, come on, bro. Stop. They go 10-6. Andrew Luck loses. No. They won one playoff game. Then they lost the next one. Andrew Luck retires. That's you, Frank Reich. He retires because you guys couldn't get a fucking O-line or couldn't come up with a scheme to help him out. Next year, Frank Reich, don't make the playoffs. You go 7-9. That's cool. You know, you lose Andrew Luck, he retires. We don't know what to fucking do. Next year, you get Phillip Rivers, 11-5. Cool. You know, you guys got a high seed. You lose. You fucking lose to someone you shouldn't have lost to. Then the next 2 years, 9-8, 3-5-1. Get the fuck out of here. He deserves the Panthers job. David Temper, you're the richest owner. Charlotte is, I think, the 20th largest city in America. Maybe higher than that. It's time to make this shit a big market, bro. I'm sick of this small market talk. There's 1 million people in the fucking city. There's not a lot of cities that can say that in America. You got to use your money wisely. It's not fucking smart. We're about to be fucked. And I'm saying we as I just live in the state. Like, I'm a Bears fan, but I live in North Carolina, and unfortunately, The Panthers were made, and I was already a fan of the Bears, but I got love for the Panthers. It's time to make big moves. This was not one. You fucked up on this one. And it's going to hurt. Unless y'all draft great players, this shit's going to hurt. Because he is not a great coach. He is not a great coach. I don't even know if he's good.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he might just be an offensive coordinator. Like he was a fucking backup quarterback. Like that's what most offensive coordinators are, backup quarterbacks. But for me, it's like if you were gonna pass over Steve Wilkes for somebody who's like a true like Sean Payton, yeah, it's like if you did it for somebody who's super highly regarded and is a hot name, and they've proven it at multiple stops over the course of time, you'd be like, all right, you know what? You got a raw deal, Steve Wilkes, but what are you going to do? It's Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Most coordinators like Sean Payton, after you get fired or you step away from the team, you spend time like rehabilitating your image and like reproving yourself again. Whether it's going back down to be a defensive coordinator somewhere else or being a head coach at college, whatever the fuck it is. You usually, if you're a head coach, before you get your next head coaching job, if you've been fired, you got to prove it again somewhere else. Just like Dan Quinn got fired from the Falcons. He's defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Now, because of the job he did, defensive coordinator, he's getting looks again. Nobody was looking to hire Dan Quinn 2 months after the Falcons fired him, which is what the Panthers have done with Frank Reich. He didn't even have a next stop to prove his worth. Prove I've made adjustments. I'm growing. I'm learning things. I've altered my man management approach in the locker room. I've spent time doing internships with college coaches, picking up new ideas. He didn't do any of that shit. He fucking sat on his couch. He watched Jeff Saturday coach the team for a month and a half, and then he got a premier job. Like, where else has this happened? Who else can you name that got fired and then rehired for a premier position? This isn't fucking John Madden or Bill Belichick or like one of these guys that has a track record of excellence and is going to the Hall of Fame, and as soon as he's available, we got to snap him up. It's fucking Frank Reich.
Yeah, bro. You had an opportunity to make a big splash, dog, and you fucking bottled it. I predict fired in 2 seasons. 2 seasons, he's probably gone. Depends on who the quarterback is. I'll say if he gets a good QB and they're still shit again, 3 seasons he's gone. But I can understand the Matt Rule one. Like, I can see why you got a little bamboozled by the Matt Rule hire. This one?
I didn't. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we knew Matt Rule. I was like, he's a pretty good coach at Baylor. But when you dig deep and really look at the record and, like, who he beat and shit, absolute trash. He's garbage. And Frank Reich, we'll see how it goes. We both say probably not good. So we'll see, man. Only time can tell. I hope he sucks, to be honest, because he's got money.
Me too. Me too. I hope he sucks too. And I hope that the fucking Panthers learn their lesson in the future.
For me, I'm never a person to really like go at somebody's job. But at a certain point, you're already getting paid millions. Like, dude has money. If you get fired, it's not going to be that big a deal.
You know what this would be like, Terry? This would be like if after Steve Nash got fired after 10 games, like if the Rockets or somebody like fired Paul Silas Jr. or Steven Silas, whatever his name is, at the All-Star break and then replace him with Steve Nash. This would be like Steve Nash getting another job this season. That's what this would be like. Nice. And no one's even batting an eye. No one's even batting an eye.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one for me.
Yeah, man. Carolina Panthers fans, you're going to be left wringing your hands for years to come.
What a splash. A splash hire from David Tepper. Richest owner in the NFL. Let me get Frank fucking Reich. He's going to be right.
I knew it was real when he splashed his donut hole right into his coffee, same way that I do, and I just felt the instant connection.
Oh, my God, bro. These guys. It's not college, bro. What are you even talking about? Dumbasses.
Hey, falling apart down there in Carolina. And Terry, they're not the only ones. A couple nights ago, LeBron James fell apart on an NBA basketball court.
It was lovely.
It was rivalry week. They were playing the Boston Celtics. He drove it to the cup, tie game, only a couple seconds left. Clearly got hacked on the arm by Jason Tatum. They didn't call it. What ensued after that appeared to be the same celebration from when he won his championship in Cleveland. I also was watching it with my TV on mute, and I was like, did they just win the title? No. He's sad right now. Okay.
Hilarity, dog.
He threw himself around the court for 10 minutes, didn't get a fucking tech. He was on his knees at one point. He was jumping up and down at the officials at one point. He went through all the stages of grief, where it's like anger, acceptance, sorrow, like whatever all the stages were. LeBron went through all of them, unless the final stage is Rogaine. But it didn't end there, Terry. Patrick Beverley grabs a camera from one of the people who are sitting courtside and shows the picture of the foul to the referee. At this point, the refs are like, we got to call a tech on you. Like, we let the kick it and scream it and plead and go. But when you start bringing props in, like the WWE, it's like, dude, we got to tech you up, man.
It's hilarious, bro.
End up losing the game. So let me ask you, dude, who was the line stepper in this scenario? Was it the referees? Was it Jason Tatum? Was it LeBron? Or was it Patrick Beverley? How did we get here? Who fucked up?
I think Bev is first, ref second, LeBron third. Beverley, that shit. I mean, as much as I loved it, you go into the OT, man. Like, the game is over, guys. It's done. Like, it's overtime. Just go to overtime. You went to overtime down one because you bring a fucking prop onto the court. Show the ref the camera, like, you see this foul? Foul. Like, that ref's got good self-control. I'm throwing Bev out the game. If you're trying to humiliate me like that, I'm like, oh, you're out of here. Get the fuck off my court. Like, there's no way you're doing that. That was straight disrespect. It was straight disrespect. I loved it, though. It was hilarious, but it was stupid. It was really dumb. LeBron,
I heard he's bringing a folding chair next week.
They should suspend him for that stupid ass shit. That shit was funny, though. The refs, I mean, they missed a call, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the same shit. These dudes are going to rep the next game. You know, this is just how the NBA goes. No one gets suspended from the ref, from the team of officials that officiated the game. Nobody's going to get in trouble. No fines, no nothing. It just moves on.
Yeah, nor should they. People make mistakes all the time. They already have a last 2-minute report that they put out after every game.
That shit's dumb. I don't need a report to know that you missed a call. Like, it's totally fine. It's fine. That call was bad.
Oh, yeah. It was blatant as fuck, and I don't know how you miss it. It was a bad missed call. But it's bad. Like, I can't tell you how many times DeAndre Hunter or Onyeka Okongwu get whistled for a phantom foul in the fourth quarter when they didn't even touch the shooter. So it's like, come on, man. This shit goes both ways all the time. LeBron, you get more calls than are missed. Like, this one didn't go your way. I'm sorry. But for me, the line stepper is the refs. Yeah. And not for the reason that you're thinking, Terry. I couldn't be more disgusted in these referees. And it's because of how they kowtowed to LeBron James after the game. Let me read you an official statement by the NBA Referees Committee. Like everyone else, referees make mistakes. We made one at the end of last night's game, and that is gut-wrenching for us. This play will weigh heavily and cause sleepless nights as we strive to be the best referees we can be. I'm sorry, LeBron. Yo, can you remember another time in NBA history that the referees came out and issued a direct apology to a player? Do you think fucking they issued an apology to fucking Scottie Pippen for what he did to Hubert Davis or didn't do? Like, how many bigger calls have we seen blown in bigger moments? And we never got a statement once. But when the Lakers fall one game behind in their quest to make the fucking play-in, now we got to put out something for the whole universe. Now we got to apologize to the king. Oh, we're so sorry we missed one. I know we've given you thousands of bullshit calls over your 20-year career. We're so sorry. Sleepless nights. I'm going through PTSD. I might not be able to sleep again. I can't pick 6 in the lottos when I go to the gas station. Like, it's too much. It's too much apologizing. So the fuck what? You missed a call. Like, we'll call a travel call to first possession of the next game.
It's not the Lakers. It's just because it's LeBron. Look, man, LeBron's top 2, top 3, top 5 for haters, top 8 for dumbasses. The dude's one of the best players in the fucking game. Like, he deserves this shit. I will say this, though. The call was fucking bad. They got to do some shit about that. Like, I know people make mistakes. That was a pretty bad one. I'm not going to fake. That was a blatant, easy fucking call. Like, I'm not, like, we can't sit here and say that wasn't. I probably would have reacted the same way. Like, everybody loves to sit on the couch and like, oh, he overreacted. If you've ever played in a fucking sport and got a really bad call, especially when you're about to win the fucking game, like, I might have punched the fucking ref in the face. I'm not going to lie. I've done some shit out of character.
All right, like, Ivan Johnson, go ahead.
You give me like 3 seconds to really get fucking heated. If the ref's near me, I might fuck him. I don't know. I'm not sure. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I've done some stupid shit. I've kicked him on the stands before. Like, give me a yellow. You get mad. Like, shit happens. At the end of the day, you got to make that call. Something's got to be reversed. If they're able to reverse, and we're not going to sit here and say LeBron probably going to miss both those fucking free throws anyways. Like, let's not sit here and say he's a clutch free throw shooter, by the way. If we're going to sit here, like, in the finals, when they reverse the charge block call that KD did, when LeBron was nowhere near the fucking boundary of the whatever they call it, underneath the basket. They reversed that call. If some shit's blatant like that, that's 5 seconds. All right, we'll give you the free throws. Other than that, I got no problem with some of the missed calls, but that one was pretty fucking bad. They might change some shit up because of that shit. That was bad. And the funny thing about it is they were doing research on one of the refs. Apparently, like, his record is like 30-2 in all the Celtics games. Like, the Celtics always win every time he's a ref. And his fucking wife is from Boston, and they got hella pictures of them in Celtics jerseys and Celtics gear. It's just like, I mean, look, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. It's just one missed call, but LeBron.
No, I mean, listen, you're right. The NBA doesn't want the Lakers to make the playoffs or LeBron James to be in the postseason. You're 100% right. That's the last thing they want is the marquee. The last thing they want is the marquee franchise in the history of the NBA and the biggest player in the league in the playoffs. You're right. It's a collusion. They're doing everything they can to prevent the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James from being on TV at the end of the year.
LeBron is not going to get any more calls. It's done. All that crying and shit.
Trust me. After this, he's about to get nonstop calls. He's going to shoot 15 free throws a game for the rest of this month. The referees association is going to present him with like a needlepoint couch pillow that says "R bad" on it before the game.
Let's watch his free throws per game. I want to look at it closely. We'll see if it's not Embiid numbers. I think it's going to go reverse. I think the refs going to be like, "Oh, you think you're the shit, huh? Nah, no foul." Him and Pat Bev. That's croonery. That's
Trae Young. They're not going to do that to LeBron. Yeah, man. Like what you said about the referees and this guy from Boston and his wife and their record, it's like there's clearly some shit going on. Like Tim Connolly's nephew is still reffing in the NBA. Like the other guy that Connolly was doing shit with, who like was implicated and basically proved is still in the NBA. Like all the referees are these guys' buddies and nephews and cousins and shit from 20 years ago. Like to act like the gambling shit and them trying to influence games has completely gone away is beyond naive, I would say. But is there like a league-wide conspiracy to keep LeBron and the Lakers out? They're like, I'm sure you saw it online. Oh, if you just had these 5 missed calls from these 5 games go the other way correctly, then it would have been 4 games up in the standings and they'd be in 7th place right now. It's like, come on, man.
Bro,
the league wants to see the Lakers in the playoffs. I promise. They want to see you in it. They didn't send out any memo to the referees. They're like, hey, make sure if this one's tight, it goes to Boston.
Hey, look, just go ref a game. See how hard it is. That shit ain't easy. I ain't gonna fake like it's like the easiest job in the world. It's not. But it was a bad call.
That's pretty easy. It's
you
pretty
can't change it.
It's pretty easy. As somebody who's been a ref, it's pretty easy.
Nah, stop it.
It's pretty easy.
No, you're a horrible ref. You don't get cards.
Especially when they have like fucking replay and I could go back and look like 8 times.
Yeah, but they don't replay shit. If you fuck it up, they'll just show you in slow-mo that you fucked up. And you're just like, I mean, I can't change it. I don't know what to tell you, motherfuckers.
Hey, I wish you guys had saved your challenge.
The only thing I'll say, and we can move on, is like, if there are certain refs that have an insane win-loss record with certain teams, let's just remove him. Can we just get a different person? That's all I ask. I'm not caping for nothing. I just want to see fairness. I don't even want to see, like...
Dude, it's like the referee they sent home from the World Cup after he gave out 17 fucking yellow cards. They're like, you're done, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
It's somebody else, too. Oh, who's the dude who gave Tim Duncan the fucking tech?
Oh, yeah. Joey Crawford.
Yeah. He has, like, crazy records versus certain teams, too. But, like, that's all I want to see. I don't really care. Like, I don't want to see any extra replays or none of this other shit. Like, move the games on. I want to see those move on. Just, if dudes have a crazy record, don't have them.
Don't put them on the game. How about that?
That's it. Nothing else.
But you agree. There's no way that an entire league would collude to try to hamper the effectiveness of one team or to stop their success or to promote one team over the others, right?
There's no collusion. If there was a collusion, LeBron would have fucking 15 free throws a game.
Yeah, that could never happen in professional sports. Like in Spain, where Barcelona just sued their league, La Liga, took them to court over they followed La Liga's rules on how to register their golden boy Gavi for the rest of this season. But then the secretary of the salary cap or whatever the fuck his the title is, Tebas, he's like, no, actually that doesn't follow all the statutes. You guys are over the salary cap. You can't register any more players. You got to get $170 million in salary off your books before we let you register Gavi. And we're like, what? That's not what the CBA says. That's not what the rule says. What are you talking about? Took him to court, came back the verdict this morning, Terry. Barcelona won against the league that they play in. Gavi has been officially ruled by the Spanish court. La Liga, you got to give it up. Stop playing coy. Register Gavi. The fact that we came to this point, Terry, where this would be like if the Los Angeles Lakers sued the NBA over LeBron's non-call. And then they won. And then they won. And they were like, it is a conspiracy. You're right. The court system said that. This just happened and nobody's blinking an eye. But for Barcelona fans, it's like we knew this already. Tebas is friends with everyone at Real Madrid. All he cares about is fucking like making the whole league financially viable so that Malaga can stay in fucking La Liga for another 20 years. We're going to lose every big star that ever came to Spain. And he wants to do everything he can to prevent Barcelona from moving forward. And today, slapped that big old fuck you right there by the judge. They're like, you listen to us, we don't listen to you. And Terry, the thing that's most interesting to me about this is, when's the last time we saw Barcelona sue La Liga?
I don't know. When was it?
Super League.
Oh, facts.
Now, they didn't even go to adjudication. They, backed out after all the other teams and everything. Now that they got this win under their belt, and they already have a precedent of the Spanish courts ruling in favor of them over the collective league, which is La Liga, I think that they could be emboldened for a second try with this Super League, Terry. And I think they might take La Liga back to court to break out.
I don't know, man. La Liga seems a little way too corrupt for me, bro. Y'all need to fix your money situations up. You need to fix your refereeing union. Shit needs to change. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't understand.
It's turned into Serie A from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
You know that in La Liga, it's like the least amount of goals scored in any European league by far.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're all parking the bus. Every fucking team. The whole league is turned into Catenaccio now, except for Barcelona and Real Madrid. And then all the biggest stars, we can't buy them in La Liga because of these arcane salary cap things that they've instituted. So while Chelsea spends $600 million in one window to acquire blue chip talents throughout the rest of the globe, fucking Real Madrid is signed a 16-year-old from Brazil, and Barcelona is getting Hector Bellerin on a free. And it's like all the premier talent in the world is moving to like the Premier League and to PSG, and Cancelo just moved to Bayern Munich. And
they got the most money.
Yeah. And Barcelona, it's like, we'll get Eric Garcia and Hector Bellerin. And we'll renew Sergi Roberto.
Yeah, you're pretty much just all like youth guys, to be honest, and like people you can sign when they're super young to come to your squad because.
But it's like there's not been a star that's been brought into La Liga from another league.
You got old Lewandowski.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
even him, it's like we paid $30 million for him. He's like 34 years old. You know?
I don't know. I mean, Neymar was good in Brazil, but it's not like he was, at Chelsea and you stole him away. I mean, Madrid got Hazard. I don't know how long ago that was. Madrid gets the people. But
that was like the last of it though. But the last time like for a decade, it was like all the stars wanted to come to Spain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Madrid and Barca, yeah. You got a lot of stars.
That shit is over, bro. That's over. You don't even hear people being talked about. Like, we've been talking about Mbappe for 4 years, and he still hasn't come.
Mbappe owns PSG now. There's no reason for him to go to Madrid anymore. Like, he owns like 4% of PSG. Like,
right. He's like, what, am I going to move to La Liga so Tebas can tell me about how to fucking allocate my salary cap? Like, no.
Like, your boy Mbappe's on the board. He's like, yeah, I think Mbappe needs to play more. There's something about Mbappe. He's like really good. He needs to play more for PSG. Like, I don't know. It's just me. It's just a hunch. I'm not sure.
Right. He's fucking creating email accounts and sending emails to the board members.
Bro's got KD fucking burners for Mbappe.
Who is Speedy Donatello 97?
Easy money. I don't know, man. You're right. But I mean, I don't know. What does the league want? Do they want Madrid to win every season? Like, does that get you all the most money?
Yeah, they want because remember, like the banking system, the royal banking system is the one that owns La Liga. And where is that tied to? Real Madrid, same pool of money, same pool of people, same rubbing shoulders.
I don't know.
Tebas, strong connections in Real Madrid. But the whole thing is like, they're like, we're going to be financially sustainable. Every single team in the league is going to have a 10-year plan. And we're not going to allow you to make any moves that could, like potentially derail you. You know what I mean? Like sign Joe Smith to a fucking $100 million contract or something like that. And so at some point, bro, you got to let people be stupid. And if they want to be stupid, and if they want to spend $40 million on some guy from Monaco who doesn't really change their team and they get relegated, so fucking be it. That's why you have all these teams hungry to move up. Like, you can't hamstring what the whole league is trying to do and their ability to bring in premier talent from all over the world for the sake of making the bottom 10 teams sustainable.
So is that what they're doing?
Yeah. It's all about sustainability. It's like, sustainability? We're $1.5 billion in debt. We're selling Barca TV studios to fucking Fox Sports. We got Spotify on the name of the stadium. Like, we got the Drake Owls on our jersey. And you're talking to us about sustainability?
Look, I'm sure you just did bad business. I don't know what to tell you. Like, the bottom 10 of all the other leagues are shit. They somehow sustain to be still in the fucking league. Like, they're going to make it. Just be good. Let your top teams be good. You're a top-heavy league. You've always been a top-heavy league. Just have Barca, Madrid make a lot of money, and Atletico, whoever else wants
and it's a trickle down, dude. It's like Reaganomics. Like when fucking Gareth Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi and Xavi and Iniesta were playing every Clasico, the eyeballs and the revenue that you get from everyone watching that trickles down to the Malagas and the other teams in the bottom half of the table. And when everybody's fucking budget goes up, that means the small team's budget goes up as well.
Yeah.
You can't use the like fiscal sensibility to preserve Real Sociedad and like use that same model to govern Real Madrid and Barcelona. Like that's going to be good for the league. What's going to be good for the league is that they get fucking stars to come to the league. That's what's good for it. That's what brings eyeballs. You'd have to watch Athletic Bilbao your whole life to know that fucking Inigo Martinez is any good. Nobody fucking knows about these guys in the Spanish league. They got to watch them come over from somewhere first.
You can't talk about trying to be fair and being equal when you're still throwing bananas at black people. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, just get all the money, try to get the best players, and forget about everybody else. Let's move on. Like, y'all aren't fair.
You saw what they did to Vinicius in the Atletico Madrid game?
Nah, they were throwing bananas at him? My man.
Yeah, they're doing all that shit, singing songs, making the monkey faces, throwing the bananas. Fucking after the game, La Liga does what they always do and put out a Twitter statement that's like, we're going to detain the one guy who's responsible for this, and we'll get to the bottom of this problem, and we'll make sure this one guy who we caught never comes back to a game again.
Do you think, will there ever be a day where La Liga's business sense is so bad that they might fold the league? That's why they're trying to do the Super League shit. I don't know if it's them particularly, but do you think?
That's why Barca and Real Madrid and Atletico are trying to make the Super League.
That's what I heard. Atletico, stop it. Get out of here. Like, you guys just kind of got good. We're not trying to get any Atletico shit. You guys stayed in fucking La Liga, dominate that bullshit league. Change it. You can change the league to something else. Change it to something else. Whatever you want. It won't be La Liga. Change it to something else. I don't watch La Liga like that. I'm sorry. I don't want to disrespect, but
that's my point, dude. You used to when it had marquee matchups.
Yeah, when Messi started falling off with that Barca squad, the interest just kept going away. Like Madrid,
and it's so sad too. Like I'm a Barca fan, so I get like my feed of my advertisements on social media is always geared to that shit. Yeah. And the advertisements they have for ESPN Plus, they're like, the La Liga returns this weekend. You can catch Jordi Alba making his return to the field for Barcelona. But it's like, this is the iconic marquee player who you're advertising the return of the league, that Antoine Griezmann is back, that Jordi Alba is back. They had one for Lewandowski. They're like, catch Lewandowski when the La Liga returns against Atletico Madrid. I was like, first of all, he's suspended, so you can't catch him. He's suspended for the next 4 games. Didn't even get your fucking graphics right. Like, that's how bad we've gotten to this point. They don't know any of the players, and they don't know when they're going to play.
They
expect me to watch.
They signed the wrong contract, to be honest. Like, the Premier League, they got NBC. Shout out to them. And, like, of course, they're going to have more viewership just because we speak the same language. So Americans are going to be more prone to watch the Premier League because they speak the same language. Like, I get it. But ESPN Plus is garbage, guys. If you didn't know that, you should know that now. They don't have anything. No good games are ever on ESPN Plus. You get replays of some NBA games. Maybe you'll get a fucking Monday night game every now and then, but they don't give you a game. I'm about to watch fucking Malaga play. Who the fuck? Like, I'm not watching that shit. Get out of here. Give me the marquees. Sign a better contract. This might be as bad as the MLS going to Apple TV exclusively. I don't know. ESPN Plus is shit.
It might be worse because at least the MLS is like signing marquee guys and the profile of the league is going up.
It is.
La Liga is getting worse by every fucking month. And for the casual observer, it's like, I mean, how many casual fans can name 5 players in La Liga not on Real Madrid or Barcelona?
Nobody, probably, honestly. If they're not playing FIFA consistently, then I think it's impossible. And FIFA's about to be gone, so...
And then when your league has the least amount of goals scored in all of fucking Europe, it's like, at least if I tune into a Farmers League game, I'm going to get to catch a 4-3. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something right now. Once FIFA, the video game, is out of here, some of these leagues are about to be fucked. Like,
yeah, dude.
Absolutely fucked.
And they only got a couple months of FIFA left.
Yep.
Like, this is all happening at once. Setting up nicely for Barcelona to chuck up the deuces and say, I'll see you guys in the Super League. Now they got this win by the official court of Spain over. This sets the precedent, man. Like, you can't just tell all the teams unilaterally what they're going to do. You have to abide by the things that are collectively bargained.
I just got one thing to say about that. Like Europe, I love Europe. Me and you have been over there. Traveling is beautiful. It's very different than America. They like to say we're too money hungry over here. I get it. We're a new country. You guys have been over there for thousands and thousands of years. We 1700s. We're barely here. But it's time for you guys to start thinking about money. Stop thinking about being comfortable. It's time to eat, motherfuckers. All right? It's time for you to get your program straight. Because, once FIFA goes, the interests of La Liga, Serie A, even League One. I mean, they got one. Everybody's got one super team. Real Madrid and Barcelona, y'all boys need to do something because it's starting to trickle down into forgetting about you. You gotta do something, bro. I don't know what it is.
Trust me. You guys heard it here first. I'm sure it'll be reported in the coming months that discussions have opened back up on the Super League. If you listen to this podcast, it'll be broken news.
Yeah, I heard it.
One last thing I want to say on this is just the short-sightedness of somebody who's governing the whole league. Yeah. Gavi won the Golden Boy Award for the best player under 21 in the world this year. How would it benefit your league to prevent him from being registered and staying in La Liga and opening him up to being on a free transfer this summer because he's out of contract? How would potentially losing the best U21 player in the world benefit your league? How?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I've also heard that Spain's work permits are kind of difficult to obtain, which is kind of fucking up a lot of the transfers and stuff. And
they got different European Union laws too, where it's you can only have fucking 7 guys who are not from Europe on your whole fucking squad.
It's stupid. I don't know.
It's really dumb. Hey, they're putting a lot of eggs in this Super League basket, but hopefully it pays off for them, man. But across the pond, Terry, America is putting a lot of our high-priced they're not regular eggs. These are duck eggs or Tyrannosaurus eggs or something. Yeah. Our most valuable eggs in Tyler Adams, Brendan Aronson, and Weston McKennie are now all in the same midfield for Leeds, who are struggling to avoid relegation in the Premier League. Weston McKennie's Juventus team was hit by a deduction of points, I guess we'll say.
They're cheating again.
Yep, they're back at it as usual. Get slapped with another 15-point deduction.
Why did they cheat so much? You already get all the good players. What the fuck are we doing here? You know what? I get it. AC Milan and Inter Milan do actually, present a threat. And Napoli. They actually get good players, so I get it. They got parity in that league, but Juve, come on, bro. Seriously. Just stay top 4. If you don't win, it's okay. Jesus Christ, it's fine. You'll get back up.
They got no fear. They're fuck it. You guys sent us all the way back to the 2nd division. What did we do? Win that, go right back up. They're I'm untouchable. Come at me, bro. That's so Juventus' whole injury. And Weston McKennie was this is getting a little messy. I don't know if I want to stay in this relationship. He started getting eyes for the girl in the corner of the room wearing the Leeds shirt. Yeah. And now for America, it's this Leeds shit has to work out, Terry. This Leeds shit has to work out. Because we got the best American coach there in Jesse Mars. We got the 2nd best American coach there in Chris, whatever the fuck his name is, who's his lead assistant. Yeah. We got Weston McKennie, we got Tyler Adams, and we got Brendan Aronson all playing in the same squad. If they get relegated, this is going to be fucking terrible for America.
In 2026.
But on the plus side, Leeds is now America United. And I don't really watch EPL games like that, but I will be watching more. I mean, I catch the marquee matchups. I'm not going to watch Leeds play Leicester.
Is it because Man U sucks? What's wrong?
No. It's just I watch the big matchups, but I'm not watching the everyday ones as much. It's because Rooney's. We got a lot of sports going on, man. This is the period of the year where it's you got to really choose what you care about.
Wait. I think I know why. Because those games come on early Saturday. What are you usually doing early Saturday? Coaching?
Yep.
Makes sense. That's when they play their games. I got you. It all makes sense. It's all scheduled. No big deal. I feel like it comes at a perfect time. But anyways, besides the point. Leeds, they're just doing what me and you have been doing on FIFA for years. Get the American players. Because I know they're going to be 85s. Play them in most of the games. Those are my guys.
I have my current career mode, Terry. I created a team called USA FC. And I put them in England, and I only bought all American players. The whole team is American. I already did this before they did it.
I'm telling you, bro. I mean, come on. We do this. I know the dudes' names. I know they're going to be decent. I'm going to sign them for $2 million.
And they're all athletic. That's the other part we don't talk about. They're always great athletes.
They're good and they're cheap. It's a given. Aronson, McKinney, and Adams are not going to be more than, 15 million? That might be the max. Like, McKinney might be 15. I don't know how much they bought him for, but if he's more than 15, that's a little crazy. Like, he's good, but he ain't worth 15 or $20 million.
Yeah, when I bought Yunus Musa, he was worth 60 mil. I was like, damn, FIFA really hip to this shit. They know he's the best one out of everybody, huh?
Crazy. Yeah. Leeds, I think it's a good idea. Plus, like, most Americans watch the Premier League games just because of the time they come on. They come on at like 7 or 8 or 10 in the morning on Saturday. Some Sunday games, but they all come on before NFL. So I think it's a good idea to get American players on one team. And you're going to get a lot of fans. You're going to get a lot of Leeds American fans out here. And I love it. It's a great idea.
Hey, I might be one of them, man. I mean, we've never had 3 players this good all playing for one team. Like, we've never had – this is not like the Fulham days where we had fucking Brian McBride and Clint Dempsey and I forget the third guy, Jay Demerit or whoever it was.
Yep. I mean, that's why we got love for Fulham. The only reason why we know who Fulham is because of Dempsey and McBride. The only reason why – and Eddie Johnson went there as well. Only reason why we know.
Speaking of Fulham, did you see who's being targeted for a move to Man City today?
Who?
Replacing the outgoing Joao Cancelo, Anthony Robinson apparently is in talks with Manchester City.
I don't know. Americans don't do well with Pep. But we'll see.
I was like, I don't think that's going to work out too well. I wouldn't do it. Plus, Pep, he likes his fucking right-footed left backs. It's like Anthony Robinson, he's the opposite of that shit.
If you're good, though, he'll play with you. Like, Jordi Alba was good when he was playing with him. Like, with all respect. And the black dude. Abiol? No. What's his name?
Oh, Abidal?
Abidal. Yeah. Like, he was fine with them. If you're good, he'll play with you. But, yeah, I guess now I think he prefers a lefty. Jao was good. But apparently Jao was wiling in practices and training. He was making fun of people.
I mean, he's also played like shit all season long. It's like, I don't know how many times you can expect that you're just going to get started automatically when you're walking around the pitch and not contributing much.
He had a great season last year. He probably one of the best left back seasons I've seen. Like he played really well last year, but New Year, you're right. He struggled, but
now's not the time for Anthony Robinson to make this move. With so many other Americans making risky moves, it's like for Leeds, if there's not even a clean position for McKinney to fit into. Like, they usually play a 4-2-3-1 with Adams and Mark Roca at the base. Like, they've been switching around to a 4-3-3 some. They've played it like 5 times since the new year started. If they do go 4-3-3, he could be a good fit there. I saw an interesting article today on The Athletic, shout out to whoever wrote it, talking about what he contributes the most on offense. And it's very interesting, actually. Like, the profile of what he's done has shifted a lot from going from like, Hamburg or Schalke to then Juventus and then now to Leeds. But it's like the thing that he offers the best now is he finds the space between the lines to receive the ball. Like, he does a great job of providing his teammates with the outlet and making forward runs to get in those spaces. Once he gets it, he takes a lot of risks. But that's what they need right now is, like, they got a good passer. Mark Roca, he came through the Barca system. He's a La Masia kid. Like, he wants to play that possession style. Next to him, Tyler Adams, he's the box-to-box guy. You're not ever going to close your eyes and confuse him with Sergi Busquets. And so getting a third guy who can do the other work, like who can be a Seydou Keita type of guy for them and be the connecting piece to offer steal, enough technical quality, but like you're also an attacking threat and we can find you in these spaces. I think it'll actually work out pretty good for them, man. And now you get to move Aronson around more. You can play him on the wings. You can play him as the cam. You know what I mean? Like, they just get a lot more flexibility. And but they got to switch their formation. They can't stick in that 4-2-3-1 with Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams at the double pivot. That's not going to fucking work.
It'll be interesting. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But, just shout out to the Premier League for always signing Americans. That's all I'll say. Like Josie Almador, DeAndre Yedlin, Dempsey, Donovan, bunch of dudes. Tim Howard. Like, we know about the Premier League. They've been signing us.
Can we get Almiron naturalized?
Almiron?
Yeah, man, he spent like 5 years in Atlanta. Can we claim him? Can we switch him over?
He's Paraguay, right?
Yeah, he's somebody who's not good enough to make the World Cup. Like, come switch it over, man. Let's be real.
Hey, shout out to Newcastle, 3rd place. That billionaire overhaul, baby. Coming to fruition. But yeah, man, Leeds, hopefully they do something. I'm rooting for you. I'm not going to buy any Leeds shit, but I'll be watching.
No, I'm not going to buy any Leeds shit, but I'll be tuning in now to see how our boys do at the highest level of competition.
That'd be
And
sick.
it's like, if we have all three of them playing together in the midfield there, it's like, woo-wee.
That'd be sick.
That's must-watch viewing now.
They're sitting at 15th, but it's a tight fucking race because the last place team has 15 points and Leeds has 17. So,
Yeah.
one loss and you're
They're
done.
definitely in the relegation zone. And
Or
McKinney's contract, they can't buy him unless they stay in the Premier League. If they go down, he goes back to Juventus.
Oh, is this a loan?
It's a loan with an obligation to buy. So
Oh.
if they stay up, they have to buy him. But if they go down, he goes back to Juve.
Huh. You know, quietly as it's been talked about, Premier League is kind of all over the place this year. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's a lot of teams at the bottom that are scrunched together. Liverpool's in 9th place. Newcastle's 3rd. Like, I don't know what the fuck's
Arsenal first? Like, are we even going to say that? Arsenal first?
Mikel is a good coach, man. He's a really good coach.
Yeah, but their squad is not as deep as yours or even Chelsea's or
Yeah, but
some would say even Tottenham's. Like,
City keeps losing weird games, though, so I don't know. When you keep losing these games, it's hard to catch up, bro. When you lose, it's hard to catch up. Tie?
I saw an article the other day in The Athletic. It was like, are Manchester City better without Holland?
All right. With that being said, anything else you want to talk about?
No, man. We can go out like that. We'll be
Game.
back on Friday to give our selections for the All-Star game, which are announced the previous night.
Thursday, yeah.
We are not going to just give you a list of guys who made the All-Star team. All right? You guys can go to Twitter. You can go on Google. You can look that up yourself. What
Yeah.
we are going to do is give our selections for the team who deserve to make it. We'll see if John Moran can squeeze his way in, Terry. But until then, guys, make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you Friday.
Yes, sir. John Morant, top 6.
Thank you for listening to our podcast this evening. Thank you. You're far too kind.